I think having people who can really fill both roles is a unicorn, but it's really important.
Why did you ultimately choose DataCose?
I chose DataCose because I felt like I was getting a team that had specialized experts and a generalist, holistic understanding of what we're really trying to accomplish.
What quantifiable improvements have you seen since implementing?
We grew 382% in the last year alone. When we started, we were struggling to get 20 or 30 paying members for over a few months. And today we have over 500 active recurring members, nearly 600 now, and we're currently generating roughly 50,000 a month in gross revenue.
No, that's incredible. So yeah, first question that we have here, connected to the challenge that you chose.
Yeah.
What were your biggest concerns when searching for a dev team?
Biggest concerns when moving for, I felt that logistics were, the biggest struggle was figuring out how to build a system that filters and organizes data in such a way that reduces complexity and makes doing this at scale possible. So my biggest concerns was finding someone who isn't merely just an engineer, but an actual data scientist and a systems expert who can think big and can hold in their minds the immense complexity of, how such a system can actually be designed most efficiently in reality rather than just in theory.
Yeah, and beyond the tech, were you looking for someone who could also maybe understand the business side of things as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, looking for someone who just has the most holistic view possible of, down to every line of code all the way out to the emotional human experience and everything in between end to end is just so important because it's not enough to just have a generalist and it's not enough to just have like sort of a sniper expert. I think having people who can really fill both roles is a unicorn, but it's really important.
Fantastic. And why did you ultimately choose DataCose?
I chose DataCoast because I felt like I got that. I felt like I was getting, a team that had specialized experts and a generalist, holistic understanding of what we're really trying to accomplish, which isn't just lines of code. We're trying to actually create an emotional experience for people and provide value for people. And I felt that, you and everyone at the team, I felt so taken care of. And I just felt like it was a very, natural process. And yeah.
Great. And can you maybe tell us what kind of tech we built for you? What solution in the end have we built?
Oh man. I mean, DataCose literally built, we built everything together. It's not like I had, a whole platform half ready to go and then you guys just improved it. When Renaissance Club started, it was Google Docs, and I was sending emails and putting things in Google Sheets, spreadsheets. So really, DataCoast was in it from the very, very ground floor. Literally none of this was possible without you and your incredible team. So we started with this sort of hybrid Airtable custom platform approach where it was sort of like Airtable, but souped up with a custom platform. And after 2.5, 3 years, we are now building a completely custom platform. And that's the only thing that's allowed this to even happen. By the way, do you need me to kind of talk about what Renaissance Club is, or is that like in a later part of the conversation that you'll splice together? Because out of context,
Yeah,
or maybe it's not.
I was going to ask you at the end because I also realized from the first question you're talking about building things, but we're not really sure what yet, right?
Right.
So I'll ask at the end if you don't mind, and yeah, I'll
Of course, yeah.
rearrange this to
of course,
make sense. I'm also curious. This is a little bit off script from the questions, but maybe it's
Yeah.
better than the one that we have here.
Yeah,
Let me think about how to formulate it.
sure.
It's something about like the flexibility, the kind of it's kind of scrappy, no question, in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Trying to bring something to market, try to just make something work, and of course, there are like funding constraints like that are
Yeah.
legitimate, time constraints, there are all these tight constraints, and we're
Yeah.
like trying to balance building the best product for the cheapest price, the fastest time. Like maybe can you
Yeah.
talk a little about that and how DataCose could help you in this way?
Yeah. So in, this was a relatively radical idea, and there really was nothing, there was no really blueprint for this. So DataCose was absolutely essential in being ultra flexible, and we were really just trying to build that, minimum viable product that people can use. Um, and I think, you and Wouter were instrumental in helping me even decide what should go, what should ship, and what should stay, what we should push to later, what's less important, what's more important, what's crucial. Um, and that was just a lot of conversation, a lot of talking, and just a lot of big picture thinking and creative thinking before anything was even built. And that was yeah, we really, this was really like a absolutely untouched lump of clay that
Absolutely.
we there was no, yeah, I think with other products there's often a roadmap. There's often like many people who have done it before, so you kind of have like, okay,
Yes.
this is what we
Yeah.
should clearly build, and then here's our
Right.
differentiator, and so we'll ship that to market. And oftentimes the difference is really more in the marketing than it is in the thing itself. Like an
Sure.
insurance company is an insurance company, they all work the same, but
Yep.
the terms are different, or
I
real
see.
estate business or whatever. But with us, we're actually like building a completely new product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Also, Mike,
I don't know
I
yeah.
think, sorry, I probably shouldn't say that's right in the middle of your talking, but
No, 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 no. I was just I
yeah,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
me. I
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
agreeing, like, definitely, no, you're completely right. Um,
Yeah.
I, I feel like I spend a lot of time talking to business owners now. Renaissance Club is a unique project in our portfolio, so that
Yeah.
we're not typically bringing these new ideas to life that often.
Yeah.
It's more risky. It's also,
Way more.
honestly really like it's a lot harder as well.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, Mike, this is where like
Certainly.
your in your um like uh attitude, that's not quite the word, but like your personality, just how you are,
Mm.
defines so much. Like we have to work together, and there are going to be problems and challenges and tough things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's a really hard thing that we're doing
Inevitable.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's this like this type of like relationship, I don't know how to really phrase it, is really,
Yeah.
really challenging. And typically we're even like shying away from these like kind of startup ideas, and
Yeah.
it's just high risk and high potential for it not to work, or for conflict, more pressure
Yeah.
on the project for sure.
Absolutely.
Um, and so maybe also for you to know, most of our projects, we're typically going into existing businesses, typically service-based businesses, and helping them kind of productize their successful service
Oh,
already.
yeah. Yeah.
So just as you said, there is some sort of like proven workflows
Yes.
roadmap here, and the
Yeah.
chances of success are definitely much higher. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Definitely. No, that's great
So
context to know in
yeah,
this conversation, just in general.
yeah,
And yeah, that the attitude thing goes both ways. I mean, you guys are unbelievably professional, but also very human and friendly and kind. And it's not like just I don't know, I don't feel like I'm working with a corporation. I feel like I'm working with a group of human beings. And um I think that's crucial to feel both ways. Yeah, yeah. Just a bunch
yeah,
of kids trying to build something, but kids who know a lot of things.
yeah. And I think
Yeah.
we're learning a lot very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, and maybe we're jumping around a little bit, but one thought I had that I really appreciate about DataCose is just how you guys are constantly researching and trying to stay on the cutting edge of what's possible and what's happening. I think the tech sector is probably the fastest growing sector and the fastest changing sector in the world. And it has been for a while. So to keep up with what's possible is its own full-time job. And the fact that you guys aren't just resting on your laurels, and you guys could solve tons of problems for tons of people and not have to learn any new things, really. Maybe keeping up with a few updates here and there, but you guys are constantly stretching yourselves and constantly trying to stay on the edge. And that's, as a client of yours, I feel so safe that what we're building, I know, is utilizing those new things, even if it's the first time you're using them. Like, you're not afraid to move fast and break things and try, new technologies and new protocols. And that's one really crucial way that I feel like we won't be left behind, because you guys are so on top of what's new.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
And I think there's some really exciting things coming your way with AI. Very
Oh
soon,
yeah.
'cause-
Oh yeah. I've been thinking a lot about how to utilize it. I mean, the one use case, because we talked about AI, we've talked about it several times.
Yeah.
And funny enough, we actually felt that AI was not useful in many cases because it's more uncertain than the algorithm we've built. However, for things like suggested itineraries.
Yeah.
So
Mike, maybe I can almost interrupt and say, the conversation we had before, it's not the same conversation anymore, right?
Yeah.
The tech has really improved. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
I think it's probably coming your way now.
Yeah.
Back then, not really feasible, but
sure.
Yeah. And just so you know, maybe it's like a side note just for you, this quarter we're really focused as a company on AI. We're doing a lot internally to experiment with it, but the idea is to be able to actually help you and other clients kind of help lead you through the next few years, because
definitely.
Really, I think it's going to change everything.
Oh yeah,
there's
no question. Yeah, and figuring out how we can continue to be valuable to people in ways. And this is a really big reason I wanted Renaissance Club to pivot to a community thing, is because that's something AI can't solve, where AI can give people suggestions of great experiences that meet all their criteria. They can do that. What AI can't do is give them deals on it, and or at least consistent deals on everything. And it can't ensure that you're going to be at that pottery class with 10 other members of a like-minded community.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's really like playing into this community building thing while removing all the friction from discovering experiences in one sort of hybrid social engine, I think is really what we're now trying to build. And AI will be a tool, not like a threat, to that.
Yeah, that's really good. You're already really not just thinking about it, but aligning your strategy to be AI friendly. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And because now it can start to have some notion of tasks and schedules and send reminders and do things.
Oh yeah, man.
I think it's moving towards potentially it could even book something for you.
Totally.
Use your card and
totally. Oh yeah, absolutely.
But you're right that it ends there, I think. Yeah. Well, or it could do more, but that more
It'll be a
needs
while.
to be engineered. It needs to be put together by someone.
Yeah. It needs to be very deliberate. You're right. It might as well be us.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
right.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. So another question here, moving on to the outcomes. What quantifiable improvements have you seen since implementing? And if you don't have great quantifiable numbers off the top of your head, you can also just talk about the growth of the platform as well.
Oh man. I mean, I do have very good quantifiable numbers, and that's all really thanks to DataCose. We grew 382% in the last year alone. When we started, we were struggling to get 20 or 30 paying members for over a few months. And today we have over 500 active recurring members, nearly 600 now, and we've had more than 1,000, members total since we started. And we're currently generating roughly 50,000 a month in gross revenue. We're generating tens of thousands of dollars per month for small local businesses and vendors. So we're really bolstering small local businesses, which is a huge piece of why we exist, to help not just members but vendors who people normally wouldn't stumble on. And I'd say what I'm most proud of, though, is that we have so many members who have been with us for over a year, and some for more than 2 years now. And this shows me that what we've built is not merely a fun sounding idea, but one that delivers consistent value that makes people keep coming back.
No, that's incredible.
Yeah. That's really what
Can you maybe share a story about working with DataCose?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's hard to even share one story because there's just so many examples. Like DataCose has consistently gone above and beyond in every way imaginable. And I think what I love most about this team is that, you don't feel like for hire robots who merely do whatever I ask and just execute. Every team member treats this project like an owner. You're incredibly engaged, no egos. We very much have this best idea wins mentality, and no one's afraid to disagree if anyone feels something can be better or done more efficiently or effectively. And everyone at DataCose is just firing on all cylinders in discipline, attention to detail. I would say, yeah, everyone's always there's been so many cases where even Wouter or Radon or you would, obviously I never want to abuse your time, but you guys have on many occasions met with me on weekends or while on vacation to solve urgent problems. And you guys have just been incredibly generous and honest, which is invaluable for a first-time solo founder, bootstrapping the cost of everything. Transparency and honesty is enormous. To be able to go to sleep at night and know that you're getting, you're not kind of being exploited or just kind of stretched for money, or people saying oh, this is going to take 10 hours when really it could take 1 or 2. That's something a lot of, especially people who are not in the scene, don't really know too well. And so you just make people feel super safe with that. So it's not really a story, but it's really more just just a constant tone of gratitude.
No, absolutely. No, this is something we take really seriously. Maybe a couple additional thoughts. Yeah, I can feel the same way too from the same team, right?
Yeah.
That I know that if something breaks, I can trust them to go handle it. You and I are on the same side of this.
Coin. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
very, very lucky to have them.
Very, very lucky. It's crazy because especially a first time getting into something, you just expect the first 3 relationships you have to just go really poorly. And to be fair, I did interview, I found you guys on Upwork, and I did interview probably 4 or 5 people. But after talking to you, I definitely by far felt the most confident. And maybe this is a sort of a story of sorts. I remember distinctly that everyone else I had interviewed very quickly was like, oh, yeah, we can do that. No problem. And that's usually a red flag for me when I'm like, I don't think you actually heard what we're trying to build. I don't think you actually truly listen to me, because if you're very quick to say, of course we can do it, no problem, that's usually sort of like, yeah. And you, I remember being very thoughtful and kind of like really considering everything I was saying and kind of being cautious and slow with what's possible and what's, really deeply trying to understand. And this was back when, it was just the very first iteration. You know, Renaissance Club has evolved tremendously since we started, but even that first idea was quite complex. And you really were so transparent with, here's what I think we can build, and but it's going to take a lot of talking and back and forth. And there was not this sort of like, oh yeah, just pay up, relax for 2 months and we'll have it done. It was like, this is going to be a consistent conversation, and there's a lot of unknown unknowns. And that really gave me the confidence that you're really listening, and you're really, trying to stay aligned with me and not just sort of sell, just get a paycheck.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, thanks. I definitely remember that first conversation too.
Yeah. It felt like
Sitting there going
many
through it.
conversations kind of summed into one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
And then there was one other thought I had. Thanks for sharing. Oh, I could share a funny story with you.
Yeah.
While we're here. I don't know if you heard this one or not, but I think you'll appreciate it. There was a call maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 weeks ago with you, where internally there was some like disagreement about how something should function between.
Yeah.
Do you know
Oh yeah. Yeah, with
Casper, Wouter, and Radon? Yeah.
and Radon had kind of
Yeah.
a bet on how something should work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I do remember that.
That's hilarious. And Radon was very happy to be
Oh, that
in
was
the right on that one.
hysterical. Oh yeah. No, he stood. I think it was about how a specific whether a time should be clickable, selectable or not,
Okay.
and what the function of a certain view is. And Radon was like, it was actually counterintuitive, that the actual use of that view meant that the thing shouldn't be clickable, but it felt very counterintuitive. So I think Wouter and Casper immediately were like, well, yeah, obviously they should be clickable, but there's a reason they shouldn't be. And Radon was in fact right. And actually in that very same call, I remember later in that call, we were trying to solve a problem, and Irina, who'd been quietly listening the entire call and hadn't said a word, we're all kind of stuck on this problem. And suddenly the first thing she says is, can I suggest something? What if we, and I'm trying to remember what the solution, but she basically came up with a solution that immediately was like, oh, duh. And everybody on the call was just like, I just remember like party hat emojis, were flying up, and it was really cool. It was really cool. I really do love these collective calls where everyone is firing creatively, not just, executing tasks, and everyone's really like, it feels like working with a bunch of artists, technical artists. It's really, really cool.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Mike. So that's the last question, but definitely I want to get like your intro to Renaissance Club. I think
Sure.
that's
Yeah. I don't know
important.
how you would, I don't know how these kind of, because I'm assuming you'll probably publish these testimonials and people might want to know, what we're actually talking about, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's,
Yeah, I don't know fully yet,
Yeah,
but I can imagine that they'll probably be sliced and maybe even by answers, so there may be a little less context. But of course, if it doesn't make sense on its own, it won't exist, right?
Right. For sure.
Yeah, and I'll definitely, mention Renaissance Club everywhere I can around these videos too.
Oh, cool.
With links and all that, absolutely.
For sure. No, I
And I'm
really
recommending everyone to you. If I meet someone in LA, from LA, I always tell them.
I mean, dude, I think I was talking to you about this, that I have not done much networking.
Mm.
I will say, actually, I did meet a videographer
Okay.
who is a great filmmaker and storyteller, and he's probably the only person that I would say, like everyone else that I've met, I've done like now like one or two expo things, and to be frank, a lot of the people that I've met there, I feel like you guys either do the same thing but 10 times better, or they are sort of not they're kind of very introductory, and it would be punching down to it, like I would only, but there is a filmmaker who is a really great storyteller, and he's sort of like this world traveler and does these beautiful videos. I would totally connect you with him. I don't know if it would be useful to you to have that kind of like yeah, I don't know. He tends to work more with like physically engaging, like a skateboarder company or like Renaissance Club or things that are more but I think it'd be a really interesting challenge to see how DataCose could tell a story through a sort of more film medium. Yeah, like kind of this edited film medium.
Yeah. No, it's very interesting. I'd be happy to talk with him. I don't think that I'm probably ready for a video at the moment.
Sure. Yeah.
But I'd still
no,
love
but
to,
I'm
like,
always
meet him
thinking about. I mean, you guys are always now running through the filter of my mind. Whenever I meet anyone, I'm always thinking, would they be useful for DataCose, and you'll be the first connection I make. Obviously.
Thanks, Mike. But yeah, I'd still probably like talk to him if you think that he'd be like open to it. Another thing is that creative people and just business owners in general, they can run around with a lot of ideas in their head that are also interesting to explore. Yeah,
absolutely. And they also know people. They might be a clutch point to someone else. So I'll certainly put you guys in touch.
Yeah, thanks.
But yeah,
and also I don't. Sorry, I also don't have a video person in my wheelhouse. So
yeah.
This guy.
Yeah, this guy's fantastic. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Great.
But yeah,
so maybe just how would you introduce Renaissance Club?
Yeah, one line I've been saying recently is, if life had a surprise me button, this would be it. We're a membership service, which sends members on a unique mystery experience, prepaid each month, everything from archery to pottery, cooking classes, kayaking, blacksmithing, helicopter flight lessons, and 100 other experiences. And yeah, that's essentially what we do. I noticed that adult loneliness and stagnation are kind of two problems that are separate but are also interrelated. I was finding that people tend to be very stuck in their routines and the general monotony of a life or a relationship. And I had this sort of hypothesis that the reason for that, more than anything, is friction. I think it's basic human nature to take the path of least resistance, and we often don't explore new things proactively because it requires so much research and planning and logistics to try new things on a regular basis. So Renaissance Club was sort of a question and an attempt to see if you can remove all that friction for people end to end in a way that actually works in reality with their changing lifestyles, with all the complexities of the vendor and all the complexities of the members and their criteria and availability. And in that way, I feel like the project is a little bit like creating an airline, like running an airline, where you've got these, all these moving parts that you need to constantly connect in a systematic way. And yeah. And I mean, this is not possible without a team that obviously is very, very tech savvy, but also very systems, high level oriented, that like is really thinking in systems and how to organize all this stuff. Yeah,
That's
that's really that's the whole art form, is how do you organize all this information in a way that's actually useful, that
right.
actually can have a concierge book somebody for the perfect experience with the perfect people in under 5 minutes out of 100 choices. How do you do that? That's really that's really what we're doing and what we're trying to do.
Mm,
Which is
That's
miraculous
great.
that we were able to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, Mike.